Fog gear that's good as swell, that's clean. Join Tim and Owe in between the sets. Between the sets.
Hello and welcome to the Bodysurf podcast with your budgie boys Tim and Owe, hydrated by Hairy Man Brewery. How you doing, Owe?
Yeah, late one tonight, Tim. We're running overtime. Is that what they say in the biz?
I don't know. I think we're pretty much spot on, aren't we?
Well, we normally start this show around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
But this is a podcast. You know, the idea of this show is you can listen to it whenever you want. I don't know why we're going live all the time.
Yeah, well, this was the thing we decided at the start of the year. We're like, we'll bring the podcast to the people.
Yeah, I think we really just wanted to be Rov Live.
Yeah, and we are now. We're doing our own skits here.
Yeah, that's right. We should have done a cold opener. A little sketch.
Yeah, a little flick your switch.
A bit of a skit for the boys. But no, we're professional. We're doing, what would you call this setup? It's like a community television studio.
It's what we've wanted to do since we were kids.
Exactly. I wish we knew how to frame a camera, but
no, I think it's good. Like you've got the Wampa here.
Oh, you want me to cut back?
Yeah, cut back. We got the Wampa here. You got the Dick Lighter. By the way, where are they?
Yeah, we should have a bit of Dick chat actually, because a few people were actually asking, who are Dick Lighter? And we sort of had to explain they're these young boys from Western Australia that they made their own merch and they've got their own foamy handboards. But they're not posting, are they?
Nah, they've fallen off the face.
They had the big comp at Rabbits and then nothing really happened. It was a great event, and I think that was starting to get momentum. They had like 1,000 followers.
Yep.
And then, I don't know what happened. Maybe they got grounded. They're quite young. Maybe they got in trouble and they're not allowed to sell merch anymore.
Mum's pulled out the modem cable. They can't get on the interwebs anymore.
Exactly. I've got to say a big congratulations and happy birthday.
To me? To me?
Feel old?
No, I don't actually. I feel young. I did wake up with a sore back today, but I don't think it's related to turning 30.
It honestly happens. When that clock hits midnight, bang, your back just goes.
See, I was hoping that you might have the 21 Today grab loaded up, because that's how I feel, Tim.
I was going to get the 21 Today grab. I was worried because, you know, Happy Birthday is public domain now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you used to have to pay for that song if you sang it on a television show or on a radio show. That's free for me to use. I'm pretty sure someone still has the rights to 21 Today.
Yeah, they would.
So I didn't want to use it. But so you're feeling young.
I'm young at heart. Yeah, the body's probably getting a bit old, and I mean, I don't have regular checkups at the doctor, so everything that I feel in my own body is just by assumption. So I've got a sore leg that may be related to my sore back. I don't know.
Yeah,
and I've never asked anyone, so I do a couple of stretches here and there, and it actually seems to go pretty well when I go for a body surf. Like the next day or so, I'm pain-free. But then if I haven't been in the water, it's just, I don't know, I don't feel good.
Well, that's the thing, you know, medicine is not a science.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It's a guessing game.
Yeah, it really is.
So no one knows what's going on. We like to pretend that we've got it all together, but no one really knows what they're doing. So I think you're very smart by not going to the doctor, because I think sometimes they're just like doing whatever.
Well, that's my thing. No one's ever died of cancer not knowing they had cancer. You know, you've got to know that you've got cancer to die of cancer.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not making light of that subject in any way, but I'm trying to use my life as a test for everyone else to say, well, listen, I don't go to the doctor. So if I live to, say, like 75 and I have a good run, maybe we put too much weight in medical science.
But if something bad was to happen, do you think you would feel it in your bones?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe because I understand my body and how I'm feeling. I would like to say that I would know what's going on, but I talk a lot of rubbish, Tim, and I don't think that, like, if I was to get skin cancer or something like that, and I have been to the skin specialist and been checked over for that. I'm not a complete prude. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, if that's where you're going with this. You know? There's you got to pick and choose your battles. I haven't been to the dentist, but I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
Well, here's the thing with anti-vaxxers, right? They're worried about their children developing autism, but is autism really that bad?
All the greatest people in the history of the world have a little bit of autism.
I'd be stoked with an autistic kid. Like, get in there, go make Facebook.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
Go code.
Yeah.
Again, we shouldn't be making light of this, but it's not the worst thing in the world. You could have it worse. So to all the people that were vaccinated and now have autism, thanks for joining the show. I think this whole setup is really thanks to autism.
It is. It really is. And half of last week's show was brought to you by autism, actually, because we did 3 live reads. One of them used the word protege instead of Portuguese. You're dyslexic, I'm dyslexic, and you're writing me a live read I haven't read before and I can't read.
Yeah.
So, swings and roundabouts.
But it was a fun show last week. We had Matty Bond on the show, and a lot of feedback, actually. They were stoked to have him on. Matthew Bond made fun of himself, saying, it's the first time a non-body surfer is on the podcast. That's not true. We've had a few other non-body surfers on the podcast in the past.
Yeah, we've got 2 hosts.
Exactly. But people were like really encouraged by his enthusiasm for the sport for someone who's only been involved in it for a very short amount of time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I actually went back and listened to it twice. I listened to it on the YouTubes, and I listened to it via the podcast app.
Oh, right.
And
so that was you, was it?
Yeah, it was me. Yeah, that was the 2 views. And I really enjoyed it. And I had a good laugh at Bondi's the kids joke again. That was quite good. If you haven't listened to it, please go back and have a listen. Now, people rated it as quite a good episode, but I think we've done better. So if you're listening to this for the first time, please go back and listen to our previous episodes, maybe some of the ones where we actually interviewed body surfers.
It's funny, a friend of mine a while back was like, hey, send us a link to your little podcast. I want to have a listen. And she was just like, send us your best one. I'm only going to have time to listen to one. So send us your best one. They're obviously not a body surfer, so they've got no interest in what we do, but they were supportive and wanted to have a listen. And I sent them through, I think it was the first time we got some of the new gear and we were sounding a bit better. And it was a tighter podcast than what people are probably used to. And it was one of just us, no guest.
Yeah, right.
One of my favourites. So,
What episode was that?
I
do you
think,
know?
I don't know.
I'd like to have a listen to it because often when we record things, Tim, I go, man, that was shit house.
Yeah.
And I listened back to it. And it's not that bad.
Well, last week after the show, I was talking to executive producer Woofo, and I just said, mate, I'm sorry about that. I wasn't feeling it. He goes, what are you talking about? It was great. It's a good show. So it's hard when you're in the hot seat to know what's actually being broadcast out there.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true, Tim. Now, last week we spoke a bit about Slide, and we spoke to Bondi. We also spoke to Tom Ma.
Yep.
But you know what? I think we need to put that to bed a bit, and we need to look on to our next event.
Yeah.
Which is
well,
the Womp Camp.
That's right. And before COVID happened, you'd have a look at the year and be like, oh man, this is going to be great. We've got all these great events lined up back to back. Even Trav, when organising Slide, was mindful of what was coming up, but who knows what the future holds for us. Unfortunately, we weren't able to even get into the Gold Coast for Slide Fest. So now we move forward to things like Womp Camp and later in the year, Womp Off. Are these things going to have the same issues that we've already faced this year?
Yeah, you'd have to say that they do. I mean, Victoria had their worst day on record today in regards to the amount of deaths from coronavirus. And New South Wales is looking okay. We had 13 cases today, 12 with known links. So let's just keep our fingers crossed over the next few weeks before Womp Camp that stays like that and we can make it go ahead. Obviously with the social distancing regulations in place, but we don't want it to be a thing where it's like, all right, well, there's no regional travel, there's no camping spots available. We have to kind of go back to a soft lockdown. That's not what we want. So I'm hopeful and I've got my fingers crossed, Timmy.
Well, it's technically, 3 weeks away if we were going to go ahead with Womp Camp on the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th of August. We have a message here from the Womp Camp help desk. So I sent through a quick message this afternoon, and I got a really fast response. So, hi, Daniel from Womp Camp help desk here. Currently says changes are going ahead as planned under current social distancing guidelines. No current advice or changes received, but our camp liaison officer will be reaching out to them tomorrow. Mexicans need not to attend, and Canadians need to consider their leadership advice. So anyone from Melbourne, or anyone who even looks like they're from Melbourne, mate, if you've got a scarf on, get the hell out of here. If you're drinking a latte, no, thank you.
You know who is actually from Victoria? A very surprising person that you wouldn't think would be from Victoria, but is from Victoria. Big name on the Bodysurf podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Have a guess.
Barrel Pit.
He's from
Really?
Victoria.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Jake's from Victoria. So, Jake, won't be seeing you there at Womp Camp. Unlucky, mate. You are not invited. No, obviously that is good news, I guess. It's saying open to New South Wales residents. Queenslanders, I mean, if you can get here, but I mean, you're going into 14 days isolation coming here. So leave now. You can come to Womp Camp, and then when you go home, there's another 14 days. So if you've got 5 weeks of annual leave up your sleeve that you want to burn on 2 days, sure, jump on. And it'd be worth it. I'd do it.
The big issue, I think, is for us, we haven't made any plans. So we've been talking a lot, but we haven't booked anything in. Now, it's only a few weeks away. Have we got to start thinking about sleeping arrangements? Have we got to start booking cabins? I know you were thinking about just jumping in the swag or sleeping in your car, and a lot of people do just camp. That's got to be organised. Finding a nice spot to camp and have the commune, but also we want to grab a cabin so we can do the podcast. Have we got to start making reservations?
Yeah, we do, Tim. And last year we left it to the executive producer, Wolfo. This year he's a bit off the beaten trail. He doesn't know whether he's coming. He doesn't know whether he's not. I mean, his wife is very pregnant, and so who knows? Like if she gives birth to their child, then Wolfo's out.
Yeah, and what is it, about a 3-4 hour drive? So you don't want to be stuck there with no cellular phone coverage, as we all experienced last year.
Yes, true.
When you've got a baby on the way. So, yeah, I think a few people will have to make some hard calls about possibly staying here that weekend. However, a lot of the budgie boys are amped up. We didn't get to go to Slidefest, so they're looking for an excuse to get away and have a bit of fun. Last time we went, we had a great time. It was our first time at Womp Camp. Everyone was so welcoming and got around the boys. We took with us what we thought was a lot of beer. Now, it did not last long at all. So we've got to start working out, hey, what are we going to be taking down in terms of beverages? Because the offer's there. We can take a few kegs.
Yeah,
we just have to work out all the technical stuff.
That's right. We spoke to our good friends over at Hairy Man Brewery, and
Wolfo just sent through. He's already had the kid.
Oh, has he?
3 months old.
Oh, good. That's good. Good to see we're on top of things.
Oh, man.
Well, it looks like you're coming then. You bring the kid, Wolfo? And congratulations for the birth of your child.
Muzzle top.
Male, female?
Yeah, male.
Male?
Yeah, I think.
That's good. We're on top of it here. Now, we spoke to Hairy Man Brewery, and they normally give us a couple of cases to take away. Now, last year, they've said it's too expensive. So if we want to, instead, we can take some kegs. We just got to know how to keg them, tap them. And so that's bringing a gas bottle along and a bit of plumbing. I'm not really down with the lingo.
Well, you watch those college movies. What's a good one? Is it like Porky's or something like that? There was the big one, the Harvard Lampoon one, Animal House.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they always have these keg parties. We've got the red cups, and they tap this keg, and it's always like, you know, they're underage and they've got to sneak a keg into their parents' house. And it all looks so easy. But there was a great television show called Freaks and Geeks where some guys get a keg and they don't know how to tap it, and it just froths up and it's a disaster.
Yeah.
That's what I think we're going to be like. So I want to make sure we can have a drink. So maybe cans are easier. It was very easy to keep them cold. It's pretty chilly. You get a bag of ice, that will last you the weekend.
It will, yeah. It won't even melt.
So I don't know. Harry Man's always very generous. So thank you very much for setting us up with some lovely beverages. And didn't everyone like having a bit of a taste test last time? I think everyone was getting around the pop ales.
Yeah, that's right. And Andy at Harry Man did send us with some pop ales for last year, and I think Corey drank all of those. So no one, if you actually got one from us last year,
yeah, well done.
Well done, because that was part of our deal with Corey to come and swim for the Budgie Boys.
That's right. Yeah. Now, I'm really just thinking about, you know, the last weekend. A few stories going around. Now, you did turn 30 on Sunday, so you've only been 30 for one day.
Yeah, 3 p.m. I was born.
Right.
So we had a little, like, what are those things with the bank?
A party popper?
Party popper at 3 p.m. yesterday. And
really? You stayed up?
No, 3 p.m.
Oh, p.m. Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
Afternoon, baby. I wasn't getting in the way of
that
anyone's
explains a lot, actually.
Yeah, because I'm always late for things. And yeah, I'm not really a morning person either. So it does explain a lot. And yeah, one year.
Did you celebrate with a bit of a drinky poo?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Friday, Saturday night. Sunday we just stayed in. We had a little fish curry.
Oh, nice.
But on Friday and Saturday, we went out to a couple of bars and restaurants in the Cronulla region. Now, I will say there was not a lot of social distancing going on at one of the restaurants we went to.
I keep hearing about this, especially at restaurants. I've had a similar experience, and I'm off it.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to some restrictions easing so we could go have a beer and so we could go have a nice meal. But I thought it was going to be super strict, and it's not. It's really not. And mate, we're on the up, aren't we? Like, there's some issues in New South Wales at the moment, and it could even have an impact on things like Womp Camp. But yeah, you mentioned you went somewhere. We won't say the name, but people were pretty much being stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of people there, but where the people were, everyone was on top of each other. Everyone was right next to each other. There was just no distancing going on. So I don't know whether it's the government's fault for not communicating the information properly, saying that you're only allowed to have this amount of people within your venue at any one time, but just stick them all in the same corner. It's sweet. Or it's the restaurant going, well, this is how it's going to work more functionally for us. Because, yeah, I mean, if we start getting transfer cases within the community that in the dozens, it's gonna blow up in a second. And that's why I'm worried about Womp Camp too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, 2 weeks, 3 weeks away, you don't think it's a very long time, which it isn't, but this thing moves at a rate of knots.
Yeah.
It just goes so quickly. So I know everyone's kind of sick of hearing about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tim, it's something that we really need to worry about. And I mean, people would say, well, don't go to a restaurant. You're part of the problem. Yes, I get it. But also, if the restaurants are abiding by the social distance regulations, I should be able to go there and be effectively safe. Yeah. So there's one of our main bars we go to, the Blind Bear. You couldn't be more distant in there. Like, really, there's just no standing up in the venue at all. It's all table service. There's just no way you would even it would not even be possible for you to catch the virus unless you were someone who was sitting with one of your friends that had it. I think of Highfield. Now, Highfield got done for a case a couple of weeks ago, and everyone was like, oh, red alert, it's bad, this is one of our locals. But not even the people on the table that were sitting with that patron caught the virus. So they're doing their social distancing very, very well. I just hope that other venues can kind of catch on and keep doing it, Timmy. I mean, Boyle's up the road, social distancing. It's because no one's going there.
We go there, and we're the only ones in there. But that's nice. It's nice to be able to have a drink and not stress out. Now, I guess you're one of the lucky ones because a lot of people have celebrated birthdays over the last few months and were not able to do anything. So at least you were able to go out, even though things were a bit sketchy. You were still able to have a nice weekend, have a few beers with the boys, catch up with the misso. Were you able to get into the water?
Yeah, I got in the water. I actually went out with I wouldn't say I went out with the Budgie boys on Saturday morning. I had a little hissy fit. Yeah, and now, Jesse Mawson, it's coming straight for you, mate, because I've just had enough of negativity in my life. I get out of the car, I drive down. I'll be back to you. I drive down, I hop out of the car, I go, all right, boys, let's get in, it's looking good. And Jesse goes, oh, we were contemplating not getting in. And I just went, right, catch ya, hopped back in the car and drove down the beach and swam somewhere else. I'm sick of it. Just get excited about being in the water. Now, for me, I'm someone who goes around and checks multiple different spots, and if it's not good, I won't get in. But I try and do it out of a state of optimism. There's always some place better. Let's get to the place that's got good waves. Where that day I was just like, it doesn't matter where it is. Let's go. Let's have a good time. And there was just like, don't want to do this, don't want to do that. So I went and jumped in at gate 8 with Uga. I'm jumping ship.
Yeah.
I'm just with the Bait Bay boys now.
Now, I didn't go because I'm still, recovering from the back injury. And really, it was just a bit chilly and I was very comfortable in bed. But I'm keen to get back into the water very soon. And I actually checked out a bit of the surf, and it didn't look too bad. So I don't know what all the carry-on was about. What was the surf conditions like?
Yeah, the surf was large. It wasn't overly big, but it was hard for Bondi. And so it was very rippy. I mean, there's no sand in there at the moment because just repetitive East Coast lows have taken it all. And so it was pretty much just like sweeping and ripping out. I even got caught in one, and it wasn't too bad. You just took you out and you swam across. But it was just like rippy, and I got in a little rip bowl. It was fun, but there was no banks. Like there was no point swimming out the back and trying to catch anything long because it wasn't necessary, I guess. But I will tell you one thing, the water was cold.
Yeah.
It was really cold, Tim.
That's what I'm worried about. I've just got this new steamer and it did the job, a month ago, 2 months ago when I went in last. It felt quite toasty actually, but it's the conditions are changing. And I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, Tasmania hit like minus something. Like it was colder than the Antarctic in Tasmania.
Really?
Yeah. There's something going on out there. We've just had some torrential rain over the weekend. It's freezing cold here. And, I complain. It's Australian cold. It's not that bad. Like it's definitely worse in other places. We live in Sydney, Australia. It's pretty good. But, man, I've lost a lot of motivation over the last few weeks just because the change in the weather. It's hard to get out of bed, let alone jump in some freezing cold water, especially if the surf isn't doing exactly what you want it to be doing.
Yeah, I would have thought that the water was probably down towards 16.
Shivers, okay.
Which it doesn't seem that cold when the outside temperature's, 6? So you're going 10 degrees on top of the outside temperature. But it was the first time in a long time I actually got a headache.
Yeah, when you're sitting in there and, you got no protection of your head. And it's at least you got in and then you went back. You backed it up the next day with another surf, a birthday surf.
I did, birthday surf on the Sunday, and that was actually really fun. We went to Windy Point, and it was super clean.
Windy Point's a new one for you guys. I didn't know much about it until you took me out there to suss it out. It seems like you guys are really enjoying surfing there.
It's quite a fickle wave, and it's in Cronulla. It's not that hidden. If you look around, you'll find it easy enough. Now it's a wave that needs quite a lot of east in it. So any south swells, it's just really luck of the draw whether you're going to get any. It needs to be really large to even start breaking there. But any east in the swell, it'll start picking a bit of swell up. Now, Windy Point by the name is a point that is quite actually protected from a lot of the south winds, so it's kind of in the little bay. So when you, I guess your Shark Islands are too wind affected, your windy point is that little bit more protection, not as protected as the point, but the point, we don't really like the point. I mean,
I love it.
Yeah, it's a very crumbly, top-heavy wave that
it's always packed as well.
Yeah, it's very busy. So if you can get windy point on on the off chance that it's on, a very, very fun wave. Now, we had it pretty much to ourselves on Sunday, so it was myself, Robbie, and I think one other surfer. And it was a long wait between sets, but every time the set came, it was about 4 or 5 foot, which I was really enjoying. And you know me, Tim. If it's clean, I'll get in. If it's a bit windy, I'm just a bit off it. So I pick and choose my battles now that I'm 30. I think the older you get, it's more what you like, more likely to do.
Yep.
You know, it's just you'll only go out kind of when the conditions are nice.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I'm just starting to hear a bit of a theme over the last few weeks. You know. And this is due to really be being sort of trapped in our area. A lot of Cronulla chat lately, a lot of Cronulla talk. You haven't been as adventurous maybe as you have been in the past. Is that because you are kind of just locked down?
No, I haven't surfed Maroubra in a while. I think the last time was a few weeks ago.
How are the Maroubra Bodysurfers
They're going good. I'm in the chat at the moment. They were actually just talking about Womp Camp themselves.
Oh, okay, good.
Rob sent through a message saying, how's everyone looking for Womp Camp? Peter Goddard says, pretty unlikely. Dill says he booked today, so there's people coming.
Okay.
People are booking. And James Zietler says would love to, but struggling with a leave pass. And so you're probably getting about 50% in, 50% out from the teams. I don't know what the Budgie boys are looking like. We're probably 50% there. I'm sure the Sunny Coast guys will go. They run the show pretty much, so they'll all be there.
Queenslanders are going to struggle.
Yeah, you get Ricky and a few of the East Coast body
true.
surfers. Belly's going to turn up for sure. You'd think so.
Well, I think he generally just hides in the bushes for the first day and then sort of makes an appearance when he feels like it's time to go. But that was the first time we kind of got to know Belly quite well and sit down with him, have a chat. And we knew nothing about him, really. We followed him on Instagram, but we always think people are from different spots. Like last week, we thought Tom Ma was from North Sydney.
Mate, we think that our executive producer is going to have a kid next week, and it's 3 months old.
It's actually Robbie Miller who's having the kid.
Yeah, that's right. I get those two mixed up because they're both bodyboarders.
Yeah, so we always get we thought Tom Ma was from like up North Sydney, but then Belly, we assumed he was from the Gold Coast, but that's just because he holidays there all the time. So it was good to find out what he was all about and where he was from and his story and things like that. And I feel like that's going to... We were hoping to sort of have a chat with some people that we rarely get to talk to, but due to COVID, some people might not be able to get in. So we'll just make the most of it, and we'll do probably another live podcast like we did last time, and then try and grab a few interviews here and there. We've been real slack on the international guests lately.
Yeah.
We thought this would be a great time to jump on the Zoom and do some international interviews. However, it's just tricky, with the time differences. So we're trying to work out how do we cross to Hawaii and California, but even places like England. So, the time differences are a bit tricky, and getting studio time and all that sort of stuff's hard. But, we'll get some good content coming up soon. Like, really, we haven't sat down with Woofo in a while and work out, what's happening over the next few weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
But do you know what's doing real well? Interviews with the Budgie boys. Everyone's loving it.
Yeah, people like you got to get to know people, and as Belly said, it's body surfing is one of those things where you just need to know everyone. You need to get everyone's story because everyone has such a unique story. Yeah. And that was his number one advice to us. Interview everyone, every single person, anyone who's ever just even
jumped in the water, had a bus drive straight on a on a little 2-footer,
a
frothy,
Just everyone. I want to interview your dad. He loves a Bodysurf.
He used to. He's not getting in he doesn't like the cold, but yeah, he's got a few mates that are really into it as well. And actually, I was at his place. He's renovating the garage at the moment.
Oh yeah, what's going in there?
So he needs more room because he got a new car and it doesn't really fit, and he doesn't have room for all his tools and his bits and pieces. So he's putting in an extra sort of room and just for storage space, I think. But your good old mate Johnny Hubbard was over.
Oh, yeah.
So he was doing a bit of electrical work, I think. And Johnny Hubbard used to run and own Mansa bodyboards back in the day.
There you go.
So he's quite connected with the community. And he said, I've heard about your podcast, blah, blah, blah. You should chase up this guy, Peter Hume, one of the original body surfers from this area. And I think he's actually won a few competitions. So we need to do a bit of research and see what this guy's all about. But I heard he's quite a big deal. So even like little stories like that come out and you go, oh, we should follow this up. That could be really, really interesting. So that's something to do as well. And maybe we just got to pull our finger out and start producing this show a bit better.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I've taken a real step back in this season, and you can see because it's gone to no, I joke, I kid. I'm razzing you, Timmy.
It's funny. We took a bit of a break because of COVID, and we had some production issues, but it feels harder this year, and I think it's purely because of that lack of motivation, because of what we're going through now. This time last year, we were like going to Womp Camp, and we were like at the peak of the podcast. We were doing interviews every week. We were feeling buggered, and I think a lot of the world's probably feeling the same way. I think it's just a morale issue. The world's over it, and that's probably when we need stuff like this. We need to be out and about and body surfing and talking to some fun and cool people. So let's give this a crack, OE. Next week, there's a blank spot on the whiteboard, and we'll try and find someone amazing to talk to.
Well, that's right. Yeah, maybe we could do a little bit of gear reviews and stuff like that. We did some gimmicky stuff, Timmy.
What was Woofo had a segment, Good Gear, with Woofo.
Good gear.
He was going to do that, so maybe he can start.
Yeah, well, I'll start it off. I got a bit of new good gear here, Timmy.
Oh, is that a birthday present?
Yes, right. Yeah, I put that one there. Yeah,
just hit it. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone looking on the
a bit of product placement there.
Yeah, I can't.
So what is this? Talk us through it.
Okay, so it's a wristwatch. And that's pretty much all it is.
What is this demonry?
Yeah, so it lights up too.
Oh, wow.
Blue. Oh, yeah. How's that?
So waterproof, I'm assuming?
Yes, fully silicone. And I got it as a present. So anytime you get a present, you always and ah. Like when you're above the age of, like, say 20,
yeah,
you can buy everything you want. You don't need presents anymore.
Yeah.
Presents are a thing of the past. And I'm not a great gift receiver,
yeah,
or I'm not a really good gift giver either. I rarely give gifts. And I think it's because I don't like receiving gifts. But when I received this, I was from April. I went, oh, it's a watch, and I was a bit like, okay, I don't know. And she's like, well, I did lots of research, and it's, and she goes, I could have got you a Fitbit, but they're a bit flimsy if you're wearing them in the water. I didn't want to get you something that's really, really expensive if you're not going to use it. So I try to go budget, and I try to go simple, and I try to go practical. And so I put it on. Sunday, I went for a body surf just to test it out, and I absolutely love it.
Okay.
I really, really love it. It's very, very basic. So it's actually a Nixon. I don't know what the brand, the model number is, but it's a Nixon watch, and they retail for like mid 100s to 200s. Now all it does is tell the time.
Okay.
It's got a stopwatch on there, and it's the real good thing is it's got the tides on there.
Okay.
So I love the tide feature. So you can actually like do a little thingy like that. And if you see there, and it shows you when the tide's going to be high and the tide's going to be low. And then if you go on the next little thing, it shows you when the high tide comes, which saying the next high tide is at 1:20 a.m. tomorrow.
Right.
So yeah, very, very basic, but it's cool. I found myself looking at it in the surf, and I'm always that guy who's like, oh, what's the time?
Yeah, if you got to get to work or something.
I'm not going to be that guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like I've got the watch, and it's really, really good for body surfing. So fully silicone. There's no little in points for sand or anything. I loved it. It's really sturdy. It didn't come off. I mean, if you do anything serious with body surfing, you're coming off on pretty heavy waves. And I surfed some pretty heavy waves on Sunday, and it was totally fine.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, so good gear with Woofo.
That's it. Well
That's
done.
episode 1.
We need a new graphic. We need some music for that. But yeah, why don't we do another favourite segment here on the Bodysurf podcast? Owi's mailbag.
Oh,
Let's check in.
what have I got?
We'll just have a look what's happening in the comments. Oh, a bit of action here. Anything interesting there, Owie?
The 40 comments from Hamish, which is nothing new.
Hamish, how are you doing, by the way? We got the late mail that you had to pull out a slide fest, and it was due to possibly having coronavirus. I think you had to get tested. So I'm not sure if you were showing any symptoms, but I guess safety first. You went and got tested, but it meant you weren't able to compete. So hope you're doing better, man. And he would have been spewing so hard about that. So I hope he got over his FOMO quickly.
Yeah, he sent me a private message and just said, I think along the lines of, he went to one of the restaurants that someone who had a confirmed case went to. I think it was the two girls that went on their Melbourne, Sydney.
Yeah, they went to nightclubs and stuff, didn't they?
And I think he went to one of the restaurants, and anyway, he had to get tested and pull out. So that really sucks for him. Lou's just jumped on. What up, boys? Hello, buddy. Good to see ya.
We were
Good
just
to hear
talking
from
about
ya.
the awkward time difference. If he's up now, like, it should be sweet.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, remember when we interviewed him?
Yeah,
and
he was going to work.
And he had to go out and sit in the car.
That was funny.
So it's probably like 8 a.m. there. And what else have we got now? Up here, Dave Archer says, jump on the booking soon. Treachery is busier than normal this year. Yeah, so you don't want to be one of those left red-faced. Especially us, if we're trying to book the cab.
Yeah,
we should get on that ASAP, Tim.
Yeah, who's we should just have head of travel, like the travelling secretary. You know George Costanza in Seinfeld? He was the travelling secretary for the Yankees, and he used to book all the accommodation when they did away games. That should be a new role in the Budgie Boys. I know Matt Bond's looking to get off the childcare role. If you want to be the travelling secretary, Bondy, that job's up for grabs. But one of the new boys might take it away from you.
But how do we get things paid for? We're not running bankroll here.
Put it on the company card, mate.
What, sports bet?
No, I think that's part of the job. You've got to work out who wants in and who's going to be paying cash. Like, you may not be staying in the cabin this year. That's fine, but we won't be chasing up money from you. I'll be staying in the cabin, so I'll give you money straight up because I want a nice, comfy little bunk bed.
Well, Wolfo said that we're booking tomorrow.
Okay.
He's spoken to Tretch already. Oh, that's interesting. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I'm just excited that Womp Camp may be happening. Now, it sounds really positive, and because we're already in New South Wales, we shouldn't have any travelling issues. It's really up to, I guess, the accommodation and how they see how they're going to kind of socially distance or run it safely. So, but if we're in cabins of people that we normally hang out with or we live with or whatever, it shouldn't be a huge issue. I wonder about, like, at night we would always commune around a fire and there'd be a big group of us. I guess we do that at our own risk.
Yeah, I think as long as you're staying a metre apart from everyone, it should be fine, you know? Obviously, we're not going to have any communal briskets like last year. Even though I guess the keg may be something that we have to think about. I mean, not everyone has their own headmaster. You know, Tim? Everyone's not bringing their own schooner glass.
That's true.
So, I mean, we could get the red cups, but you're not going to get a good head on the red cups.
No, plastic as well. I'd rather a tinny. So, yeah, the cans are probably a go.
Yeah.
I think I've got a few cans at Wolfo's house. I think I left a few salty dogs there. I might have to go pick them up soon.
Oh, you do? He said he was going to drink those.
Yeah, if you're thirsty, Wolfo, have a few. Don't worry about it.
And Harry has a new beer on tap, the Hazy.
So that's the, what is that? That's an IPA?
Hazy IPA, I'm pretty sure it is.
Interesting.
So Hazy's really they've hit the nail on the head with it. I was 2 new beers in 2 months.
Yeah.
So kicking goals over there at Hairy, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, they were shut for a while, so I guess they do a lot of their business through. Well, they were delivering at one point. I think they still deliver to the local area, but it's such a great place to hang out. And I know it's not a big part of that brewery, but going there just to have a few beers with the boys is so much fun. And they have the food truck and everything, and we obviously go there a bit and have our meetings. But they're up and running again. So if you, it's tricky. You have to get a booking and all that sort of stuff. But it's so much fun. So if you can get along to Hairy Man, support them and try out their new beers, that'd be great. I think we got to get out of here, are we?
Yeah, Tim, I think we should. Should we leave the listeners with a bit of a bit of music? Because technically this is the road to Womp Camp.
That's right.
We're on the road to Womp Camp now. We're leaving everything behind us, and we're starting again fresh. And so, if you come along to Womp Camp, this is what you got to look forward to.
The waves are pumping and the wind's offshore. Womp Camp's calling you to come and score. Bad shacks, it gets and rolls and spins. So grab your hand plane and grab your fins. Womp Camp, have a barrel of fun at Womp Camp. You can ride and slide them straight down the face, or glide and maneuver with poise and grace. Womp Camp is for everyone, so make new friends and have fun. Womp Camp, have a barrel of fun at Womp Camp. You'll wake up salty, legs like jelly, can in your hand and a snag in your belly. Head in high, big smile, gives quick memories that you'll never forget. Womp Camp, have a barrel of fun. Oh, would you take me to Womp Camp, have a barrel of fun, a barrel of fun. It's always overhead when you're body surfing.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Sure is, Billy. Catch up. Bye.
Bye.